Alright, hello. This is lesson 6.5. So, in the last lessons we've been talking about area of rectangles. Well, today we're going to talk about area of other shapes that are not rectangles. Ooh. Alright, so we're still going to use the same ideas, but there's going to be a little bit more as far as the steps that we take. Okay, so if you look here at the shapes that I've drawn, these are not rectangles, right? Because rectangles have 4 sides. 2 of them are the same length, right? And then the other 2 are the same length. These are not rectangles. These are L's or something. I don't know. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna find the area of these, but first we're gonna have to divide them up. So this is gonna be where our last lesson kind of comes back into play a little bit and makes a little more sense. Because in the last lesson, you know, if we were to divide just a rectangle, well, we don't really need to because you can just do length times width. But you cannot do just simply length times width with this one because there's multiple lengths and there's multiple widths. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to divide up our shape so that we get rectangles. Okay, so when you're dividing up a shape like this, you want to make sure that you divide it up so that it's rectangles, and I'll show you why. The way we do that is we find one of these inside corners, and then we can either go down, like that, or we can go across. See, here's our inside, and we can go across like that. Okay, so now if you look, we have 2 rectangles, okay, that make up that shape. The reason we want to turn them into rectangles is because now if we have a shape that has the squares inside, you can always count up the squares. So if I were to go from somewhere besides this corner, if I were to go here, right, and divide it, you could say, oh, well, I can count up the squares and I'd still know the area. But if you have a shape like this and you don't know how many squares are inside without multiplying, without doing the math, you can divide it from corner to corner here, right? And we can see, well, this length is, this width is 3 and this one is 6. This part is 2 out of 6, so this must be 6 minus 2, 4. And this part is 3 out of 8, so this part must be 5. Okay, so we can find those, and we'll do a little bit more with these without the squares inside in a little bit. But if you were to take a line and divide it, say, right here, well, now I don't know my width here, because I know that this total is 8 and this section of it is 3, but I don't know what 3 and I don't know what this part is. Okay, so it's really important that when you divide these shapes that are not fully rectangles, you divide them into rectangles. See, this one I've divided into a rectangle, but then I still have that weird arrow L shape, whatever it is. And it's a lot harder to find the area that way. Okay, so now we're gonna flip back over here and do some of these. So this way is not the way we want to do it. Okay, so once you have split up your shape, then you find the area of the 2 rectangles inside that shape. Okay, so we count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so this one is 8. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times 7. And this one is 1, 2, 3 times 1, 2, 3, 4. Great, so now this is where your multiplication comes in handy, so keep working on those multiplication tables. All right, so 8 times 7 is, what is 8 times 7? Any guesses? 56. Okay, and 3 times 4, that one's a little bit easier. We've done that one lots more times, is 12. Okay, so now I know the area of this portion and the area of this portion. Then what we do is we add them up. Okay, so then I take my 56 and my 12 and I add. 6 plus 2 is 8, 5 plus 1 is 6. So this whole shape, that weird L shape, has an area of 68 square units, whatever the units are that it gives you, inches, miles, meters, whatever. Okay, so let's do another one. So we've got this one here. So we've got two rectangles kind of on top of each other in this shape because of the way I divided it. You can also divide it up. Just remember to divide from that inside corner whenever you can. All right, so this one has 1, 2, 3, 4 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, and this one has 1, 2, 3 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so 3 times 5, that one's easy, right? The 5s are really easy. 3 times 5 is 15. What is 4 times 7? Any guesses? Okay, 4 times 7 is, what is 4 times 7? How do we find it? Well, learn your multiplication tables. But if you're still struggling on that part, remember you can always go from one that you know and count up because it is repeated addition. Okay, so you could do like 4 times 5. That's one that's easy to find, right? 5, 10, 15, 20. And then work your way up. So 4 times 5 is 20. 4 times 6 is 24. So 4 times 7 would be 4 more than that, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. All right, but keep working on those multiplication tables. Okay, so this part has an area of 28. This one has an area of 15. So then to find the whole weird shape, we would add, not multiply, add. All right, so 8 plus 5 is 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Carry our 1. 1 plus 2 plus 1 is 2, 3, 4. All right, so this one has an area of 43 square units. Okay, so in some of the problems, they're going to show you the number of squares, and you'll divide it up and count the squares. But in some of your problems, they're going to give you these shapes, and they're going to give you the numbers along the outsides, but they're not going to tell you how many, directly how many squares are inside. So it's a little more math that you have to do. So we started this one. So I divided it up right here. Okay, so this one we know has a length of 6 and a width of 3. So we know that this one is 6 times 3. Now, to find this one, you have to do a little more math. So we know that the length of this little ledge right here is 2. Well, we know that from here, all the way up to here is 6. Well, if this little portion is 2, we would take that total of 6 and subtract 2. 6 minus 2 is 4. So this length is 4. Okay, and then we're going to do the same thing to find the width of this rectangle right here. We know that the whole thing up here is 8, and we know that this portion is 3. So if we were to take that whole 8 and we're taking off this 3, right, because we just want this portion, we would do 8 minus 3. 8 minus 3 is 5. So that's where we get our 5 here. So this one has an area of 4 times 5. Then we multiply. Okay, so 6 times 3 is 18. 4 times 5 is 20. And then we add 20 plus 18. 0 plus 8 is 8. 2 plus 1 is 3. So this shape has an area of 38 square units. All right, so let's look at one here. What is the area of the balcony? So here is our balcony, and they've split it up for us right here. So we've got a big rectangle on top of a little rectangle. All right, so this one, they've given us all the information we need. We don't have to do any of the little extra work like we did in my example, at least not for this one. Okay, so rectangle A is 5 times 8. 5 times 8 is 40. Okay, this one is 2 times 3. 2 times 3 is 6. And then you add them up. 40 plus 6 is 46. So this balcony has an area of 46. And if you notice, it gives you the units all around here. They're all feet. Okay, so the balcony has an area of 46 square feet. All right, so when you've got shapes like this, make sure that you're dividing it from one of those inside corners. Now this one, if you were to divide, that shape, right, it makes sense to go across there, because if you were to go from that corner and go up, you still have one of those odd shapes, okay? And then you would have to divide it even again, and then you would have to add 3, which you could do, but it makes more sense to just divide it right there, and then you have 2 rectangles. Okay, so kind of pay attention, play with your lines a little bit. If you're not sure where to divide, draw that line and then look and see, do I only have rectangles or do I still have a weird shape? If you still have a weird shape, try and find a different way to draw your line to divide. All right, let's look at one more, because this one is a little bit tricky. Okay, this one you are going to have to do more than 2 rectangles to find this area. So let me go over this one with you. I'll kind of draw it out here on my paper, and then we'll work on it together. Okay, because this one looks like a pair of pants or something, I don't know. Okay, 7 feet. These are both 2. This little guy is 3. From here, so from like there, that's 6. And this whole thing, this part is 4, and this part is also 6. Okay, so on this one, because of the way it's shaped, sometimes you are going to have to split it up into more than 2. Sometimes you don't have to, and just find a way that you can split it up into just 2. This one, you're going to have to split it up into more than 2. So we're going to go ahead and split right here, because I've already kind of done that. Okay, so I have one rectangle here. I can either go across again here, like that, or I can go up this way. And just for fun, we're going to go up this way, just so it's 3 different ones, because these 2 would be the same. Okay, I think it's fun. So we have this rectangle, we have this rectangle, and we have this rectangle. So now we have all rectangles, so we can find the area. So this one, from here down is 6. So the length of this one is 6 and the width is 2. So this one has an area of 6 times 2. All right, now this total is 7. This little portion of it is 3 and this little portion of it is 2. So 3 plus 2, that's 5. So this one has a width of 5. Okay, and if you look, here it split it up. This part is 6 and this part is 4. Well, we're going from that part up. So this part is going to be 4. Okay, so our area of this little rectangle, this guy, is 4 times 5. Now this one, we know our width because it gives it to us already, the 2. And this one is 6 and 4. Well, 6 plus 4 is 10. So we have a length of 10 and a width of 2. 10 times 2. That kind of looks like a plus. Okay. So 10 times 2 is 20. 4 times 5 is also 20. And 6 times 2 is 12. So now we're going to add up our areas of our smaller rectangles to get our whole shape, to get the area. So 0 plus 0 plus 2 is 2. 2 plus 2 plus 1 is 5. So our area, then if you remember it's in feet, would be 52 square feet. All right, so when you have these odd shapes, remember to try and split them up from one of the inside corners. See if you can split it up so that there's only 2 rectangles. Now sometimes, like in this one that we just did, it's not possible to only have 2. You'll have to split it up into 3 or more rectangles. When you've got the like L shape though, for sure you can split it up into two. And this T shape, you can also get it into two, remember, by going across like this, and then you have a big one and a small one. And then you find the area of those smaller pieces and then add them together to find the area of that strange shape. So that is it for lesson 6.5. If you have any questions, as always, let me know. Lesson 6.5 is the last lesson in this chapter before you start doing the reviews and the tests. So if you need to, make sure that you review over these before you go into the test, which won't be for a little bit, because you'll do some reviews and stuff before the test. But if you have any questions, let me know. I'm always here to help, and until next time, I will see you later. Bye.